We're gonna analyze two of the most prolific clean and jerkers in the history of the sport of Olympic weightlifting, and we're gonna start right now. Now let's talk about who are we analyzing. One, we're gonna start with Deng Wei. She is arguably the most prolific female Olympic weightlifter to have ever walked the planet. An absolute phenom. Unbelievable technique, unbelievable record, unbelievable weights that she hit. And we're gonna compare Deng Wei's technique to Ilya Ilyin. Okay, so Ilya Ilyin, arguably the greatest weightlifter of all time. If we remove some drug tests and pretend that he was never using anabolics, we're gonna take two of some of their best lifts of all time. We're gonna compare them, see what they do differently, see what they do similarly, and then see how we can use this moving forward. So we're gonna look at Deng Wei from 2019. We're gonna look at Ilya Ilyin from 2015 when he clean and jerked 246. We're gonna dive deep into each position from the floor to the knee, around the knee to the hip, hip to the catch, and then what they do in their jerk. So let's dive deep into this. Ironically, I'm here at US Nationals for weightlifting. So let's check this out. Okay, we got a front angle for Ilya. We're gonna change that shortly. We have a couple different angles here for Ilya. The cool part about Ilya's lift too is that it's in Kazakhstan. I'm pretty sure it's in Kazakhstan, and you're gonna see just some great fan reaction as well. So stay tuned for that. Now, Deng Wei's taking 145, which is just absurdly heavy. Okay, so we actually have the front angle for Deng Wei as well here. So we're gonna see what does she do from the floor to the knee, right? And we gotta look at right off the bat how she gets set, and she just doesn't even use a dynamic start. She sort of just sits, she's patient, and then drives right off the floor. Okay, so from the floor to the knee, I'm trying to look at right here. What I'm gonna be analyzing is what are her knees doing? And from the front side, if we look at right there, those knees pretty much go straight back, okay, from the front. Now, for Ilya, let's see his pull here. Pretty similar, maybe a hair more movement out with his right knee here compared to his left, but pretty standard pull for both of them where chest tends to rise. You can see Deng Wei's chest tends to rise up to the knee. Same thing here with Ilya, rise up to the knee. There's a little bit movement out with their kneecaps, but not a ton. Both have a nice solid arm position here with the chest. Now Deng Wei, what I believe happens, she tends to rebend the knees forward and sort of push those knees forward. And if you've watched our technical videos in the past, we would refer to that as the reciprocation point. So what I like to analyze is when we go from the floor to the knee, okay, that's easy. Now we're at the bottom of the knee. Now the bottom of the knee to the top of the knee, I refer to that as no man's land. That's where most athletes tend to lose their cleans or their snatches. Okay, and then above the knee, that's where I refer to that as the reciprocation point, because typically we'll see the knees come forward while the best in the world push their heels down. And that's what we see here with Deng Wei. As the bar clears the knees right here, you can see she sort of starts to sit on the heels. Her knees come forward and she's already extending the hips. Okay, so we're seeing that position there. She's got a bit more knee flexion. Now, what tends to happen here is that as we start to see Ilya making contact in the hip, he's got his knees coming out a little bit more. Both of them will get their knees out a little bit, which is a pretty consistent attribute. What's crazy is they're both holding their heels flat at this position where they're already starting to make contact. These are the arguably, I would say, Deng Wei's lift is a top 3 clean and jerk, top 4 for female lifters of all time. And Ilya's top 3 or 4 as far as those that did get popped of all time. Now, let's see here. And I've always thought this is interesting, is that when we make contact, when we see them making contact deeper here, how patient Deng Wei is on those heels. She just keeps driving through those heels right here. Driving through the heels, big chest. Now she gets a little bit bigger finish. Hips come forward quite a bit, and she does have a more pronounced finish. Now with Ilya, as he comes off, I've always thought that sometimes when the weights get really heavy with dudes, there's points where it almost looks like they're not actually fully extending, and that's
this is the
what
worst.
happens. I don't know if there's a biomechanical reason. I don't know if it's just it is that heavy of a load, but there isn't as much extension as we typically would see. And then I'm looking at Ilya's feet here from the hips. I'm looking at two things. I'm looking at the elbows, okay? And if we see here, it's like the elbows come back and then they start to wrap around the bar. You can see that here, they're going back. He's not bringing his elbows super high on that clean. The other big factor is his feet. So if we look at his feet slide to that flat foot position right there. And the bar is right around his sternum height at this point, where he gets that nice tight wrap position. Look at that, super, super upright trunk. He always had a very stout upright trunk loaded with dynamic trunk control. Now we're gonna see this with Deng Wei here. Same thing, let's see, what does she do with her feet? Both Deng Wei and Ilya move their feet almost the exact same way. Almost identical, and we're looking at the elbows. Elbows come back. Looks like Deng Wei's got something going on with that left elbow, left shoulder possibly. And she's almost like shifting to that side. So her feet ground, let's see where the bar is when Ilya's feet ground, just for fun, right here. Boom. Dude, look at that position. They're almost identical. Deng Wei's elbows are starting to wrap a little bit faster. I would say her hips are a little bit higher than Ilya's. Now we're gonna get through the bottom position there. Both super tight in that catch. Man, look at that. I would say maybe a little bit more better mobility from Deng Wei. They're two of the greatest of all time. So their technique's really freaking good, which is why I love doing this. Now let's see the immediate stand up out of Ilya. So she stands right up, readjusts, gets that positioning. We see this with Ilya. Stands up, readjusts, and I feel like Ilya is immediately into that dip. A lot of people used to complain about that. Oh, he's oscillating the bar. Almost impossible not to oscillate a bar at 250, 246. Now we're gonna see here with Ilya, he gets set, dips, okay? Super upright. There's almost no movement in his elbows. Almost nothing is moving in his elbows. Gets to that quarter squat position, knees forward and out. He's got good ankle mobility. Knees forward and out, hits huge drive, huge drive. Look at that big, big, long drive. Almost like he never really gets fully extended on that left foot like he does on his right foot. Then that left foot here moves forward, hit almost at the exact same time, gets his chest. He's just a little bit, the bar's a little bit forward on him here. How deep that back knee is, that back heel. Comes forward, 246. So heavy. That's just so heavy. Now, Deng Wei. I feel like she has a quicker dip. I would argue that Ilya does have a quicker dip as well. Let's watch his in full speed here. If we go back. Yeah, both of them have pretty quick dips. And you'll hear that cue quite a bit. If you can stay upright where it's like quick dip, boom, 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 like that quick upright trunk. And the trunk position, I believe, with both of these athletes that we saw was sort of like ingrained from that catch in the bottom. And I think, you know, you hit that good catch position and then you're able to hold that position a little bit better. And Deng Wei barely even gets extension on that right foot compared to Ilya's left. Pretty similar position there. Right foot, you know, maybe she's a little more narrow than Ilya in the split position. You can see Ilya, I want to say, one cue I always like to say is to catch your split as wide as your clean catch. And I feel like if we would go back to where does Ilya catch his clean? It's almost identical. That's pretty wild. It's almost identical. And then he brings his feet back into his pulling stance. And I think that that's something that a lot of us can just, from watching Ilya, say, all right, let's dip and drive in our pulling position. Let's catch that split in our catch position of our clean. Now that's going to help us with that base. Deng Wei gets a little bit narrow, and you can see she makes a little adjustment over to the right here. You can see her hip shift. Watch the hip shift here, just a little bit there. And then she recovers a little bit more to that right side. Front foot first, comes back together, automatic, and drops that. So we're gonna see this side angle, 145. That's just absolutely insane. We're gonna see this side angle here. Bar to the knee. Now we're at no man's land. Chest comes up, okay, knees are back, right? Knees come through, and this is where I was talking about. This would be like the reciprocation point right here. Stays flat, brings the chest up right here. Now she's got hip extension. Now she's gonna flex or extend those knees. She gets the chest back a little more than Ilya does, keeps the bar really tight, deep into that catch position, stands that up. And then she's got that really quick dip. Probably about 6 to 8 inches on that dip, I would assume. Great mobility in that back ankle. Super stout overhead, easy. So let's go watch Ilya here. Ilya's position. Look at that, chest comes up here. That's like one thing, another cue that I think we could take from both of these athletes is keep the chest coming up. If you're ingrained, if you're taught to push the knees back and bring the chest up, it's gonna be there. And if you stay through the heels, everything's gonna stay super tight. Now let's see here. You can see how Ilya, his shins get super vertical, this position. Nice back position there. Look at these guys up back here. They're super excited. One's video and he's singing, let's go. Let's go. This guy's our hero. This dude's got the president on his t-shirt or something like that. Look, actually it looks like somebody from Natural Born Killers. Oh wait, they've all got these shirts on. You see this? It's like a whole goon squad with those t-shirts. Maybe that's Ilya on their shirts. Okay, so he comes in, and this is where it's like thinking almost about like that trebuchet position. Think about the levers, and I think you can sort of see that the lever arm here. Boom, watch, boom, boom. Now we see Ilya here. This is where I was talking about where almost, no, I think he does fully extend in this position. These guys are starting to get excited. Is he going to hit the lift? Let's see it. Is he going to hit the lift? They're all still yelling up with Deng Wei, up. Slide those feet out really quickly, right? Okay, now look at that bottom position. Look at the ankle mobility from this angle for Ilya. Super mobile ankles, super mobile. You can see this guy's getting excited. Watch this guy. He's like, did he catch it? Yeah, he's got it. He's got this one. Let's clap. Yes. He's excited. Look at him. This is what makes weightlifting so fun to watch. Now we can see this big, I want to see if we can see what Ilya does with his belly here. Okay, that was another thing that I did want to see with both these athletes. What do they do as they initiate the dip? Because oftentimes you'll see that, see a little bit right there. A little bit of belly growth, breathing big air, and just look at how upright Ilya is. This is the thing that people discount. I know he used drugs. I know he used drugs for a long period of time. I know he's banned, right? That's good. But technique-wise, dude had good technique in the clean and jerk. Dip, super upright, straight big drive. And this is where you can sort of see maybe that front foot, I don't know, maybe it could come out a little bit further forward. It's 246 though. This guy's so excited. This guy's video, and he's gonna keep that on his Android for years. We've got 4 goon squads all over here. Look at these guys, are all wearing those sweet shirts. How do we find one of those shirts? Let's find one of them, start selling them. Man, look at this dude, look at him. This is like the lift, literally the lift of a lifetime. Now this is like Where's Waldo. Here's another guy with one of those shirts. Comes back together, great position overhead. And I think that when we, oh, there we go. This guy's standing up. He's standing up. When we look at these athletes, it's like being super consistent in those positions over and over again, and looking at them and saying, like, all right, from the floor to the knee, what are they doing? Okay, their knees come back pretty clearly. Their knees come back, their chest comes up. When they get in above the knee, that's where we see Deng Wei start to really push those knees forward while she's sitting through the heels. Ilya raises his chest. He doesn't push the knees as far forward as she does. He makes good contact. They both finish very, very vertically. Deng Wei gets behind the bar a little bit. They have almost the exact same foot movement. Foot movement is a slide. They wrap those elbows back very quickly, and they both have quick dips. I'd say Deng Wei was a little bit more narrow in the dip compared to what we saw from Ilya. Absolutely phenomenal technicians. I would say if you want to watch somebody, watch Ilya's clean and jerk, watch Quo's clean and jerk, watch Deng Wei's clean and jerk. These are the best technicians of all time. I hope this helped you understand what clean and jerk looks like and comparing those techniques and what can be a little bit different from the absolute greats. If you guys need help with your training, head over to garagestrength.com. You can pick up a weightlifting program so that you can improve your overall clean and jerk. Because remember, freaks, if If you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power.